Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all well. Welcome back to the Magnificent Mags channel. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And yes, as promised, I am in Amsterdam. Right behind us there's Madame Tussauds. Right there is the Royal Palace. And up that way, just up there, is, that's Damrak, leading you to Amsterdam Central. Let's get on with it. So, firstly, we've got some transfer news. Josh Kenchington, the young prospect who's been labelled as the next John Stones, the lad from Barnsley, the centre-back, we've agreed a £350,000 deal for him. We previously haggled, I think, at about £275,000, so Barnsley didn't want that, but there's performance-related bonuses and that in there, so he's one for the future. He's apparently going to be integrated into a Newcastle school, go through academy, so he's one hot prospect to look out for. Nick Pope has signed a new deal. He's took up the option to extend, so he's got another 18 months now on his contract until 2027. So that's fantastic. Obviously, this week as well, we've had Ross Wilson appointed as our sporting director. And we hope it's going to be better than the previous incumbents. We all know that we had Dan Ashworth. He went to Manchester United. It didn't even work out for him there. Then we had Paul Mitchell. He came in, declared himself elite. But yeah, that went down like a lead balloon with the players. So that didn't work out. So now we have signed Ross Wilson from Nottingham Forest. Now we all hope going forward that he'll be the key if we can lure Elliot Anderson back. Because look, Manchester United are involved. They are interested, should I say, rather than involved. I got the wrong word there. In taking him to Old Trafford. However, it was Manchester United of 20, 30 years ago. I'd say we'd have no chance. However, the fact that he is a Geordie lad and we had to sell him for PSR reasons, then it is very possible that if we go back in for him and the money should be there, then we can lure him back home with him being a Whitley Bay lad. So that could work out. Eddie Howe said he seems like a positive person. He's got to be a better appointment than Paul Mitchell in his ego and Dan Ashworth. So yeah, we'll wait and see on that, but that's fantastic news. Some other good news coming out of the international break with injuries. Sandro Tonali did well for Italy, and Bruno did well as well for Brazil. So Brazil, obviously, they played South Korea. They won 5-0. He got a fantastic assist, and then he got another fantastic assist in the defeat to Japan. I think they were 2-0 up, weren't they? But then, obviously, Japan came back and won 3-2. And then Joe Linton came on for Bruno. Now, Eddie Howe said this morning that Joe Linton has returned, but he's the only injury concern out of the players. And that brings us on to Jacob Ramsey too. Jacob Ramsey is apparently fine. He's in the squad for Brighton tomorrow. And I felt in games like this against teams like Brighton, we have needed more creativity, a number 10 in there. Because, well, Bruno and Tonali have been fantastic. And Joe Linton, like, again, since he's at Kieran Clark's red card against Norwich, Joe Linton's career has just, went on an upward trajectory. But, look, got to admit, Joe Linton does have limited abilities, certainly when it comes to teams like Brighton. Brighton have been fantastic and they've been excellent under Fabian Hürzeler. And I think they'll cause us so many problems tomorrow. They always do. I mean, we've went to the Amex. I've been there too the last 3 seasons, and we've drew 5 and lost 3 of 8 games since we gained promotion with them in 2017. So far it's not been a happy hunting ground. That's why I done my post saying, can Eddie Howe summon the spirit of Mo Diarmi? I'm just going to cross Damrak before there's any trams. Yes, so can Eddie Howe summon the spirit of just Mo Diarmi, not just him, but Ioti Perez as well, because we haven't, yes, someone just said watch the street. I'm keeping that in. But yes, can we summon the spirit of Mo Diarmi and Ioti Perez and finally win at the Amex, because our record there is abysmal. Lewis Hall, it's good news. It's only a 6 to 8 week injury. He's going to be back before the next international break. Tino Livramento as well, he's out of his brace, but it's still going to be the same time scales, Eddie Howe said. So that's great news in terms of going forward, because while we've got a lot of depth in the squad, we do not have it at fullback. Look, right back we've got Malik Chow could possibly go there. Kieran Trippier's obviously there at the moment. Emil Kraft, but I don't think Eddie Howe trusts Emil Kraft at right back. And then you go to left back. Kieran Trippier could move over to left back, but again, I know Kieran Trippier's played there for England, but I can't see him being moved over there by Eddie Howe. And the man who's deputising there at the moment is Dan Burn. So I expect Dan Burn to continue there tomorrow, though he'll have a tough assignment up against our ex-player, Yankuba Minter. Another one we had to get rid of for PSR reasons. But yes, I was on Lewis Hall because I wanted to come onto the injury news, and it's fantastic that he's going to be back before the international break, isn't it? Because it's been a massive blow losing him out at Union Saint-Gilloise. Looked like he was building up ahead of steam. And then obviously we lost Tino Livramento against Arsenal, and that was such a blow when he went down. But it's not going to be as bad as first feared. So I think the squad will have enough to cope. But tomorrow will be a tough game. And look, Brighton, look, at my prediction, I'll say it now. I was going to leave it till the end, but I was thinking I'd be happy with a draw tomorrow. They're there to be got at. So I think with our attacking talent and the way Nick Voltemada started for I do think we'll have a chance tomorrow. Look, I'm still going to predict a draw because I don't think we'll still win there tomorrow. It's one of them grounds. Again, it's one of my favourite away days. It's not everyone's favourite away day because obviously it's such a trek. You normally have to do an overnight stay somewhere. 2 of the last 3 seasons when we've went there, we've stayed at Coventry and then we've stayed at Northampton. But it's part of the away day, isn't it? Go away with the lads. You stay away somewhere like a dump. Somewhere that you'd never go to unless you're on an away day. And it's absolutely fantastic once you get there. Yes, it's in Falmouth, and there's normally issues with the trains going from Brighton to Falmouth, but we normally get a taxi out. But it's just one of those grounds. And yeah, we haven't won yet, and I still predict a point tomorrow, but I think it's a game that we can win. So yes, I'll predict a 1-1 draw, but I'm going with my head. But if I'm going with my heart, I'll just say a 2-1 win. We could sneak it. The form Nick Voltemada's in, because if you go back to the international break, obviously, Lewis Miley, he had to withdraw from the England under-19 squad because he had a calf problem, but he's meant to be okay for tomorrow's game. Dan Burn didn't play against Wales, but then he came on in the second half against Latvia. Sticking with England, AnthonyGordon played both games against Wales and Latvia. He got a brilliant goal against Latvia the other night. So hopefully he can carry that confidence into tomorrow's game, because I don't think he's scored a Premier League goal since the 15th of January. So AnthonyGordon does need to step up for it. Then obviously Tonali had a fantastic international break for Italy. Like I said, Bruno got 2 assists for Brazil. Joe Linton didn't play the first game against South Korea, but he played against Japan. I think he was at fault as well for one of Japan's goals. But yeah, he's obviously, like Eddie Howe said, the only concern for tomorrow. And I think, look, you need to be brave. Yes, you don't want to change your winning squad. We've won at Union. We've beat Forest 6 goals without reply. However, when it comes to it, I'd bring Jacob Ramsey in just so he offers that something different, because we do need that creative spark. We do need that kind of number 10 in there, and he's had his own injury problems. So I think, look, take the plump, stick Jacob Ramsey in there, and then he could be that difference maker against a very good Brighton team. Look, yes, Brighton aren't having the season that they normally do, but I think look, there's still a decent team. And yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion, but yeah, as I said earlier, if I'm going with my head, it's going to be 1-1. If I go with my heart, it's 2-1. Well, yeah, the injury news is looking better. And speaking of injury news, I'm going to come on to Hall and Wissa. So, Hall and Wissa, it's been reported that he's back on the grass, and it wasn't an anterior cruciate ligament injury. It was a posterior cruciate ligament injury. Now, the good news is for Hall and Wissa is that he is still on track for November return, and it's not after the international break, it's before the international break. So Wissa was penciled in to be back around about, let's say, the West Ham game. That's a game we're going to in London. But then it's rumoured that it could drag out until we play Bilbao on Bonfire Night. But now it's looking like it's possibly, and the club, as Eddie Howe said today, they are right to manage his load. He's likely going to be back against his old club at Brentford on the 9th of November. Then we'll go into the final international break of the year. But the question is, when Wissa comes back with the form of Nick Voltemada, because let's be honest, I think Nick Voltemada has been more of a 10. When you look at him, he is a 10, but he's having to do the job of a 9 at the moment. So Voltemada, obviously, he's dropping deep. And did you see what I posted the other day, though? Who scored? Post saying Nick Voltemada's weaknesses. Hold-up play. He can't hold it up. Absolute nonsense. Because if you go back to the Forest game, he didn't give one pass away. So I'm sorry, how on earth is that a weakness? You can tell they don't watch him play. The way he's been dropping deep, he's been holding it up, bringing others into play, getting runners beyond him, doing little flicks, little passes off. He's been excellent. But then, even though it's been said that he's not a natural number 9, he's still been getting in the area. And he's been scoring with his head. He scored with his head against Wolves. He scored with his head against Arsenal. And then against Northern Ireland, he scored, well, it wasn't a header, it was with his back. One of my mates said, was it with his arse? But no, when you look back, it was with his back. He kind of like arched and then it hit off his back. But yeah, he downed them Daft Mackems, didn't he? And Dan Ballard and Trey Hume. Yeah, Nick Voltemada, the way he's hit the ground running for the way he's doing well, it's kind of like eased the pressure somewhat on Wissa not being available. Now Wissa, it's been said that will Wissa be going away to the AFCON when it starts in December. Now it's said that apparently he's going to put Newcastle above Congo. Now I don't know if that applies just to the World Cup playoff semi-final, because that's going to be against Cameroon. And then if they get past Cameroon, the final, I think, is against either Nigeria or Gabon. But yes, I understand that Wissa, he kind of does us. So hopefully that he does stay around and he repays the club for the faith they've shown in him. Because let's face it, he's 29 and he knows it's probably the big move of his career, the final move. He's missed some key Champions League games already. Against Barcelona and Union, and obviously he's going to miss the game on Tuesday against Benfica at St James's, and it's possible that he could also miss the game against Bilbao before the final international break on Bonfire Night. So let's hope that Wissa does, if it's purported that he said he's going to put us above his country, but we'll wait and see. But I watched a Geordie Journo's video and I agree with Liam Kennedy where he said that the AFCON's not as prestigious. Look, if you're from there, I can understand. I think your greatest honour is to represent your country, but come on, AFCON. Like, it's every 2 years. I agree with Kennedy. It's not as prestigious as the Euros or the World Cup. So let's hope that Wissa does do that, because let's face it, he'll come back and then his final game is meant to be after the derby. Then he'd go off. And then AFCON starts, I believe, on the 21st of December. But we'll wait and see on that one. The final point I want to discuss is AnthonyGordon. So, AnthonyGordon, I felt he done all right in the first friendly against Wales. But then he went on to the Latvia game. Now, the Latvia game, we said before he even scored, he was our best player. And then that was classic AnthonyGordon for his goal. He stood his full back up, cut inside, and pinged it straight in the bottom corner. Classic AnthonyGordon. And some people online were going, he's been awful. I haven't got a clue. Like, what game are you watching? But yeah, AnthonyGordon, man of the match, which he got in the end against Latvia, proved that he was our best player in that game. But I want to go on to his release clause. So Mark Douglas of the Eye has said this week that AnthonyGordon's release clause is apparently £100 million. Now, some people might say, oh, I don't like a release clause. Clubs could just come in and bid that. But look, it's been the norm in Europe, where I am right now, for years. Barcelona have been like classic for it. Real Madrid, they've had massive clauses inserted into their players' contracts for years. And you might think, oh, God, well, we'll have to come in and just take our best player. But look, you've got to protect the club. The club is the most important thing, no matter how much you love a player. And I think that £100 million is probably the right value for Gordon. Like I said, he hasn't scored a Premier League goal since the 15th of January. As well as he's done for England, I think that represents him well. But I don't know, obviously, the context of it. Does a club have to pay that fee up front all in one go? Or can they pay in instalments? But what it eliminates is that that whole that argument, you know, the whole drama we had with Isaac this summer. It eliminates arguments back and forth, a club saying, we think you're valued at this, and a player thinks they're valued less than that, or an agent that want to get out, all those arguments. Well, had it with Isaac going to Liverpool, but I think agreeing this up front protects the club. Everyone's in agreement already when it comes to agent, club and player. You're like, right, it's £100 million. If someone comes in and does that, look, it doesn't mean they get the player, it just means you open talks with the player. But I think having that clause in there is fantastic. So if someone does meet it, we get that back and then we can reinvest it into a better player. And look, clubs always survive. I remember the 90s, we lost Ginola, Ferdinand, but then you lose the likes of Cabaye, Carroll. You think, how will we recover? Club will always survive, and the club's always the most important thing. So I think AnthonyGordon having that clause in his contract is the right thing for the club to do, and because it protects the club and he can reinvest it. And you know, with this ownership, unlike Ashley, it will be fully reinvested to strengthen the squad. But anyway, that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to do this vlog as promised in Amsterdam. It's been absolutely beautiful. I wanted to record it a little earlier today, but we've been down in Volendam, which is just on the east coast of the Netherlands. It's only a 30-minute bus journey. We went to Amsterdam Central at the end of the street there, and we got the 316 down. And it's a beautiful place. Honestly, had such a fantastic day. When I come to Amsterdam, I want to record this for you all. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I will be home on Sunday and then back at St. James for the Benfica game. But I will be watching the Brighton game tomorrow night. Well, it'll be 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here in Amsterdam. So thank you so much for watching. For now, please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one when I give my reaction to the Benfica game on Tuesday night. So take care, and from the Netherlands, one last swirl around. Take care and goodbye from Amsterdam. Bye.